Top 10 books to scale up and build a better company. We are Accessory to Success, and we review a lot of business books here. A lot of content for writers and authors, those interested in books and business. You might consider subscribing to our email newsletter where we send out content like this quite often. Now let's move on to this great article. 10 books every entrepreneur should read to systematize and scale their business. As a business leader, you get to a certain point where you know the company needs more organization and better systems. There are millionaires that have built their systems and written books about how you can do what they did. The following is our comprehensive list of the absolute best literature available on building a more controlled, organized, systematic company with a clear path to success. First book on the list, The Messy Middle, Finding Your Way Through the Hardest and Most Crucial Part of Any Bold Adventure. Author Scott Belsky wrote this book over the course of years. In building his business, Behance, which he sold to Adobe for $150 million. As a result, it does not have the flow that a traditional book might have. A quick look at the table of contents will help any business person find something interesting to read. Each chapter is masterfully written with detailed lessons and stories learned from his time in the trenches at Behance. Now a superstar entrepreneur, Scott released his book, which he clearly poured everything he learned into. Regrets, milestones, leaders he admired, and much more can be taken from this book. You'll find a link for that on the blog post. Now on to the next book, Small Giants, Companies That Chose to Be Great Instead of Big. Learn what a great company really looks like. Not a big company, a great company. The book is about certain companies deciding to stay great and not get big, a decision usually shunned by the entrepreneur and venture community. Through a filtering process of thousands of companies, the author chose 11 amazing companies to dissect. From construction companies with a propensity to hire family members to a brewery that refuses to grow and hosts staff brewing competitions. Or even sandwich shops that only open locations walking distance from each other and force all staff members through a training that includes doing every job. This book will have your head spinning full of ideas to apply to your own business or career. A link for that is in the blog post. Next book on the list is a classic, The EMyth Revisited, Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. The legendary book for how to build a business that can run itself. You wouldn't think that a story about how to run a pie shop would carry well as an analogy for entrepreneurs in other industries, but it does. The idea here is breaking down in great detail what Ray Kroc was able to do for McDonald's, build the system that scaled and ran efficiently in operations. The book answers the question, what systems can you put in place to improve returning customer rate, experience, and efficiencies in operations? This is a must-read for managers and business owners. The next book is Building a Story Brand. Clarify your message so customers will listen. If your business or employer has a website, then they need to read this book. There is near 100% certainty that you will gain something to clarify your message and drive more revenue. Author Donald Miller shows how improving your messaging so that customers know what you sell immediately, like 5 seconds, will dramatically increase lead flow and conversion rate. He guides readers through a wonderful explanation of the types of stages in storytelling and why you need to position your brand as a guide. Your brand exists to help your customers succeed. This book is the reason our site is named Accessory to Success. Read this book and improve your lead and customer count and quality. Next book is LoonShots, How to Nurture the Crazy Ideas That Win Wars, Cure Diseases, and Transform Industries. What does a book that starts out talking about World War II have to do with business? Well, as it turns out, everything. This book shows the power and risk attached to industry creating innovation. For decades, Polaroid was carried by the spectacular mind of its founder, and his inventions pushed them to become leaders by far in many categories, until they went too far, and a failed innovation was their undoing. You learn when it's time to franchise rather than innovate. That is, focus on profitability and consistency and paced change rather than betting it all on massive category creation inventions. From here, we look at profit first, transforming your business from a cash-eating monster to a money-making machine. written by a man who has made all the mistakes you don't want to. He made a fortune and lost it all in frivolous, arrogant, and irresponsible spending. Don't worry, he's now a wildly successful author, consultant, and keynote speaker. His book was inspired by his drive to take the stress out of being an entrepreneur. Most of the time, these business owners simply use the bank account to determine how the business is doing. Profit First can give you a system to set up multiple bank accounts for specific reasons. Savings account for taxes, expenses, costs of goods, salary, etc. Keeping these accounts separate will help leadership have a better understanding of how much money they actually have to spend and how much money they owe. If you are an entrepreneur feeling disorganized and overwhelmed by your business finances, this is the perfect book to read. It systematizes financial management and planning. Next book is Ready, Fire, Aim, 0 to 100 million in no time flat. Written by a wildly successful entrepreneur who brings knowledge of starting businesses from scratch to picking the right products, then sharing how he has repeatedly taken businesses from 5 million to 10 million and then 50 million and beyond 100 million. Through the confident and straightforward tone this book is written in, you can tell right away that the author truly knows what he is talking about and his secrets to success are real. So confident in his ability to share his proven process for success is the author that he hosts an extremely expensive and high qualified educational process to learn his strategies better. This is a pitch in the book for sure. There are specific stories about how picking the right leaders can make or break your ability to outsource the company, what to look for in decision making, and how to find the right fit for each role, how to keep people motivated and incentivized, when and why managers and owners need to check in on the management. All this and much more in this inspiring book. Next up is Traction. Get a grip on your business. The book has become a movement more than anything at this point. The system in this book is referred to as EOS, Entrepreneur's Operating System. And you can always tell when someone has just finished reading Traction because they ask you if you've read it, and they can't stop talking to you about it. But really, that is the kind of book you want to read, something that has you feeling enthusiasm while reading and after finishing. In the book, you'll learn and be provided tools to put systems in place that will help steer the ship correctly by keeping you focused on short and long-term goals. The tasks you'll need to complete are called rocks. These rocks are a big part of the accountability system that all businesses need. As leaders, it is helpful to share a tool to establish a lot of this accountability, so it does seem like you're being overbearing. You're just doing what EOS told you to do. Next book is Competing Against Luck, the story of innovation and customer choice. No business can succeed unless they know why customers buy their products. This book teaches you how to take the guesswork out of what you say to your customers and learn what the reason is that they're choosing to buy your product. And guess what? It's never what you think. One of the systems that must be built in the feedback loop from customers and clients. This is one of the only books on our list that emphasizes this, and it is massively important. If you're preaching convenience and people are really buying because of quality, your messaging is going to be way off and your conversion rate will suffer. The story of how a milkshake upended how author and marketing legend Clayton Christensen thought about consumer behavior and transcended any and every business. Read this book to stop guessing about what your customers want and create a system for learning. Next is Built to Sell, creating a business that can thrive without you. This book is much different than traditional business books. It teaches the reader what it takes to sell a business, what needs to change and be removed, the revenue-generating offers that have become systemic. In terms of value add, this book is likely best for a service business leader with aspirations to sell, but even consumer goods or SaaS companies could benefit because they will be shown what buyers look for when purchasing. There is a good amount of discussion, too, about how to sell the company and what to look for in a buyer, what to say to prospective buyers in meetings, and how to court people properly. If you're dependent on one or two large clients, you must read this book and learn how to stabilize your business and become more systematic and sellable. This has been our list of the best books for business leaders to scale up and build a better company. We are Accessory to Success. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter, and we'll see you in the next article.